everyone, my name's Brittany. I'm 17. I live in Texas and I've been vegan for around 1 year and 3 months, and it's hands down the best decision I've ever made in my whole entire life. And originally in 2015 I went vegetarian and I did that for 1 year, and then last year in 2016 is when I fully transitioned to becoming a vegan. And at first I was just kind of like, I eat whatever I want and have like a diet per se. I didn't really follow anything. But now I am raw till 4 and I really enjoy it. I feel so much better not eating processed foods or like a lot of junk foods. Of course I still splurge here and there. I don't restrict myself, but raw till 4 is just what's worked best for me, and maybe it can work for you too. Veganism has just benefited me in so many ways, like physically, emotionally, mentally, and I'm going to talk about kind of not the physical aspects first, but emotionally and mentally. I struggled a lot, especially in my 8th and 9th grade years. I'm currently an 11th grader, but I struggled with depression, social anxiety. I even had an eating disorder, just a lot of things, even like branched off from that like into deeper issues. And I had like went to a therapist even for a little bit to get help because it was just getting so bad, and just I never would have thought that I would ever be happy again or normal. Just like I didn't want to be, because I was just so used to being so sad and depressed and like wanting to like not be alive anymore. And ever since going vegan, like after eating all of that like death and torture and cruelty, like it really impacts you more than you would think. Like what the animals go through, that negative like energy, like their deaths, horrible deaths not to mention, and then you go and consume that. The transfer of energy is real. Like you're going to absorb that and it's going to impact you, whether it's physically or mentally, emotionally, or all of those. And I know it did for me. I'm like trying to get better, and I was literally eating the negativity myself. I was doing it to myself. I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still healing, but from where I was to where I am now, the difference is just astounding. I used to like hate myself so much. I would just be so revolted looking in the mirror, and now I'm literally so in love with myself. It's okay to love yourself, and I feel like people are afraid to because they seem self-centered, but I'm not afraid of that anymore. Like I'd rather be seen as self-centered than as someone who like loathes themselves. Love yourself. It's okay. So as a vegan, my energy is just so good. I feel like I'm rambling on and on and on, repeating the same thing over, but I just cannot express enough just the self-love that I experience now, and it's such a proud achievement of mine, just from where I was and what I would do and just how I felt and what I thought and what I thought of myself, and it's just amazing. On a more like physical aspect for the benefits, I didn't really lose weight. I'm obviously not the skinniest person ever, but I didn't really necessarily go vegan to lose weight. It was mainly for the animals, and the more that I've learned, it's honestly mainly for the environment, because the world sustains everything and everyone, and so if there's no environment, how can you fight for the animals or health? Like the environment needs to be healthy, it needs to be clean, it needs to be livable and sustainable. It sounds like I'm like devaluing the animals, but they're just as important to me. And I mean, I still struggle with breakouts, but that's mainly kind of like from stress from school, but also like it used to be way worse than this, and it's easier to get it cleared up than it was originally like a couple years ago. And I know that when school's out and it's like summertime, I can start eating a little bit more cleaner than I already do, and then drinking way more water, which is key. I just like not having that overwhelming stress of school to like constantly worry about. I feel like that will really help. But I know a lot of people have said their skin cleared up when they went vegan, and especially just ditching dairy can help a lot too. My like essential, just basic average grocery list will always consist of tons of different fruits and vegetables. Buying in bulk is really good. It makes it cheaper. I'm a soy milk drinker. I love soy milk, so I always get that. And honestly, like everything else, it just kind of depends on like what I'm in the mood for, what season it is. And a little hack too is like it's really easy to buy things like frozen fruits for smoothies, or like frozen vegetables to eventually like steam later, add like make like little stir fries or like veggie wraps. Like it's really easy. One thing that like at first kind of like not turned me off from veganism, but I was kind of like is I always thought it was gonna be like tons of cooking and tons of preparing food, but that really isn't the case. And especially when you buy things like pre-cooked and pre-frozen, I mean, it's not gonna be as fresh if you like prepared it yourself, like really homemade, but it's still really easy, it's still healthier, and it's still good for you. And another thing, kind of like, especially for me, if you live like in a city or state even that's not really like the most vegan friendly, it can get kind of lonely and you feel like no one else is like you don't really have any friends like that you can go eat with or whatever, or, like talk to about like vegan things. And that's like what makes social media so great and so amazing, is the community on like Twitter especially is so welcoming and loving, and then you can really build a following on there and make friends. And I can definitely vouch for this, and it's incredible. So if you don't already have some type of social media account, or like if you do but you don't know about like the vegan community yet, definitely check it out, especially Twitter. Look for the little V by people's names, and that will really help you. And just talk to them. Like, don't be afraid to like slide in the DMs. Like, trust me, they'll be really open to it. I know I will be. I always am, and I love talking to new vegans and just helping transitioning vegans out. Like, it's amazing. I love it. And as a vegan, probably the most annoying thing I've ever been told was actually just recently, is this older man, I don't even know, called me a fake vegan because of my Instagram. My Instagram, literally like selfies, like I literally creeped so hard on myself trying to find out like what he saw that would make him think that. And worse than being asked like, where do you get your protein and like all that other stuff. That's another thing with veganism. You just have to be prepared to be hit with the most annoying BS ever. But it's honestly funny, it's humorous, and it's just, you're just gonna deal with it. It's just gonna happen. There's no way around it unless you like completely isolate yourself from like the whole world. But that would suck and get really lonely. Thank you for listening to me talk and talk and talk. So go vegan. Follow me on Twitter if you have any questions or just need a friend. I'm always here for you, and spread love.